3-minute warning.
Show where we take 5 of the hottest topics in sports and break them down into 3 minutes or less. As always, my name is Michael Medina, and with me is my good buddy, David Griffin.
Today we are joined with a very special person that is now going to be a part of 3-minute warning, USC insider AJ Lawrence. AJ, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
So we also have Stephen Fox, who's still up in the booth, still making things happen. Say hello, Stephen.
What's up, guys?
We're going to get right into it, talk about some NBA, a little mock draft talk.
Tournament's done, but we're not done talking about these guys.
Yeah, I mean, basketball keeps going. Playoffs are starting. Derrick Rose may not coming back. He's questionable for tonight's game. We'll see.
Don't rush it.
We're going to start talking about Kentucky. Of course, Kentucky has probably the most pro talent on their team. You know, potentially 5 to 7 players could go to the draft. Technically they have 3 7-footers on their team, 2 of which could go. I don't know if I'm too sold on these guys. I think they're very good. I don't know if they're going to go number 1 though. But what do you think, Michael? Who would you pick for your number 1?
Well, my number 1 is I got to stick with your boy Duke, Jaleel Okafor.
Right.
He's my number 1. The last 2 games, a couple of poor performances. He wasn't very Jaleel Okafor-like, but nonetheless, he's got the size, he's got the talent, he's ready to go. But behind him, I'd go with Kaminsky, because Kaminsky, senior, he's bred for this. I mean, he had 4 years to perfect everything. He's got the size, he's got the skill, he's ready to.
You have these big guys. I mean, Kentucky calls them forwards. I mean, you have Karl Anthony Towns. These guys are good. I don't know. Look at their stats, though. They're on a very, very talented team. Big boys, you can see, they're huge guys. They're built for the pros. They have the size. They have the strength. But they're at their highest numbers, maybe they scored 10 points, 6.5 rebounds. Jahlil on Duke, 17.5 points, 8.5 rebounds. I think he's more ready. I think people are getting on Jahlil because of his poor performance in the NCAA tournament.
This is why the draft is so tricky, because you take some of these great programs that are surrounded with, they're loaded with talent, and you kind of have to wonder, well, are these guys really individually, are they that good, or are they good because of the talent surrounding them?
Right. AJ, I'm curious to ask you about some of the talent coming out, and if you were a mediocre player, put yourself in their shoes, would you rather finish out your college degree, or would you go straight to the pros? Does money trump everything else always?
Well, the thing is, I realize, as important as college is, it's always there. The fact is, you have this talent now. There's the potential for injury if you stay a few years in. So I think you should take the money, run with it now. You have it going for you, and then pursue college at a later time. Shaq did that when he got his master's. Why not wait until, later for the college degree?
Because all that money is going to pay.
That's right.
It's going to pay for that college
that's
education.
That's a good point, because a lot of guys do that and stuff. Because, I mean, some guys, again, it's tough. Like when let's say you have a great, tournament, and you're young, and it's like suddenly you got a little bit of buzz, you want to cash in on that. So maybe you may not feel. Let's look at football, for example, like Mark Sanchez.
Right, yeah.
Well, I'd never felt Sanchez was ready. I don't think he's still ready to play in the league. But nonetheless, I mean, he had an opportunity, and he took it.
Yeah, like Ray Lewis, like last year, not last year, like 2 or 3 years ago, was all happy. Like, I finished my degree from my mama or his grandma. He's all, you see that all the time. Real fast, running out of time here. Is there a guy you're worried about? Is there a next Darko Milicic? I remember Darko went 2nd round.
Darko.
Ooh, bad pickup for the Pistons. The Pistons, even though they won in 2004, they could have had Carmelo Anthony, but they didn't. Is there
I said yesterday, based on his 1-game Tyus, I thought maybe based on that game, maybe he could. Overall, I don't know if he's still ready yet. I know we were talking about this. I think we both agree. Maybe another year.
All right, that's the buzzer. That's 3 minutes. We're up. We're going to reset that clock and go into some NFL. Talk a little free agency. It's always moving. There's always stuff going on. My Bill's looking great.
Season's never over.
LaShawn McCoy. The Bears are struggling. Bears, they're not sure if they're going to get rid of Cutler. There's still rumors about Cutler getting traded. There's rumors about Phillip Rivers right now. Rumors just keep going. Rumor mill keeps going. But we're going to start talking about Packers safety, Richardson. Why would you go to Oakland? I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, maybe they're paying, but it's like I don't see how a move to the Raiders is ever a good decision.
Well, it's kind of
sad
that this franchise has kind of become what it is today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like a place where
Raider Nation.
I almost love it. It's kind of like a place where players go to end their careers. You know what I mean? But I mean, again, money talks, bullshit walks. You know what I mean? Let's be honest right now. So the Packers, I think they still have time to match what the Raiders offered him, I believe. Yes. So whether or not they'll do it, we have yet to see. I mean, I'm not a Packer fan, clearly, but if I had a choice, I'd rather stick to a team like the Packers, a team that could win. But again, I mean, maybe he just wants to get paid. I can't hate him on that.
No, I mean, he wants to get paid. He wants money. But if you want a title, you stick with Green Bay. I don't know. I mean, there's all up in the air with the Raiders. Are they going to move to L.A.? Are they not going to move to L.A.? What's going to happen to them? I mean, their franchise is not the strongest right now. I want to swing it back to AJ here. I'm curious to know, her opinion about Adrian Peterson, because Adrian Peterson is always in the news, always being talked about. AJ, is Adrian Peterson a risk financially for a team? Is he gonna? Do you think because of the allegations, because of the pictures that we saw of him with his son and all that, do you think that's gonna? Is that a good pickup for a team, or is he a risk?
I don't really think Adrian Peterson is a risk at this point. I think a lot of people have already moved on from it. And, I think he's a good businessman, or he has good businessmen in his corner, and he's kind of looking to leverage the situation. I definitely think he doesn't want to be with the Vikings, and I think he's going to be able to, talk up a few teams to really show him the money.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good
point. That's a good point. I know we talked on a 3-minute warning last week talking about the Cowboys, restructuring Romo's contract. I mean, they have the money. They could maybe, do something to try to bring him over. He was a Cowboy fan. He's from Texas. So
it's tough because I think America, they love a comeback. Sorry. Look at Tiger Woods. We're going to talk about the Masters here in a little while. I mean, poor Tiger's struggling, but I think America has forgiven him for whatever he did in the past. I think they move on. We move on quickly. There's always the next big news story. There's always the next big thing going on. Also want to talk about Michael Crabtree, who's in the news as well. His options again. Raiders,
man,
always
making moves.
Raiders are. They're trying to pick up some new talent. They got rid of McFadden. So Raiders or Dolphins?
Well,
where would you go?
I know you don't want to hear this, but I mean, I'd say go to the Dolphins because
I don't want them in the AFC.
They're trying to make moves because you have to assume the reign of the Patriots has got to be closing in sooner. Yes. It's got to be coming to an end at some point. They're still going to be good next year. I'm not saying they won't be, but nonetheless, the Bills have done what they need to do to strengthen their team. The Dolphins are slowly but surely doing the same thing, and with the addition of someone like Crabtree, it'll be good for their offense.
Go to the Raiders, Crabtree. I think the Raiders is the team of the future. I put all my money on the Raiders.
Yeah.
Talk about some Major League Baseball opening day part 3. If I can call it that. Just keeps going. Always opening. Always more baseball. Sue, some new rules.
Yeah.
About stepping outside the box. Finable offense. That seems a little harsh.
It does, but you know what though?
Tell us a little about the history of this rule, Michael.
Well, obviously, so like in between pitches and stuff, batters are always like step out the box, do whatever they got to do to tweak their whatever. It takes up so much time. This is something that was implemented this offseason and was really enforced during spring training, keeping guys in the box, staying in the box so you can kind of speed up the pace of play. Also, in between innings, you have like 2 or 3 minutes I think in between innings, and there's a clock out there too, just keeping track and stuff. So Adrian Peterson steps out the box. I think he just forgot. This is a guy that's been in the league for years. It slipped. You can see if you ever watch a video and stuff, he's like, oh, you can see the look on his face. Like, he's screwed up. Nonetheless, I still think he should be fined. And the reason I say this...
Commissioner over here.
Yeah, Commissioner Medina. The reason I say this is because you got to start somewhere. You can't just forgive this guy and be like, okay, it's okay right now, because then what kind of message does that send to the rest of the league and other players? Let's be honest. They had all of spring training to work on this new rule. All of spring training. It wasn't like it was just implemented this weekend or this week. You know what I mean? So the fact that he's still screwed up, you got to get it together. It sucks. I feel bad, but got to do it.
It's tough. I mean, baseball, I like going to the baseball games. Sometimes I pick on baseball. There's a lot of standing. There's a lot of looking. A lot of this, a lot of this, a lot of holding the bat, like, a lot of walking around, a lot of this. So, I mean, I like this speeding up the rule. Ortiz was struggling yesterday, went 0 for 4 because, but he stayed in the box.
Yeah.
So did that mess up his routine?
It might. I mean, guys
Would he have hit 2 home runs if he could have just walked around a little bit? Ref calls time. All right, stop. Take a break.
Well, when it comes to baseball players are very superstitious. They have their routines, and sometimes that could play a part in maybe why he was 0 for 4. Not making excuses. I don't know why he's 0 for 4, but it could have. I'm sure it probably didn't help him. Thing about this, though, the whole pace of play, I read a stat somewhere saying that on opening day, the average length of each game, I think, was lowered by 30 minutes almost.
Wow. Because
of this. That's a good thing. That's actually huge. So I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, I'm a huge baseball fan. I'm a diehard. I call myself a purist, but I'm definitely in favor of this rule.
Speed of the play of baseball, people. Please. Game's kind of slow. No, sorry. I want to talk about real quick I think it was the Gutierrez family.
Good.
Gutierrez. That's all Spanish I got right there for you. Trying to just have a nice little picnic, a little tailgating out in the park here. I think it's the Elysian Park, I believe is what it's called, outside of the Dodger Stadium, and getting fined. Getting ticketed. You're trying to enjoy your family, have some. They had tacos. They had some good food. I wish I could be at that party. And I guess some of the locals are complaining because of noise and drunkenness and public urination. I mean, can the people party?
People can party. They can't take it that far. I think they're also, let's be honest, I remember a few years back there was a whole incident where that a Giants fan was attacked.
Yeah,
People were
sad,
drunk.
yeah.
It was sad. It was a horrible story. I think they're just cracking down. Maybe a little too hard, but they're cracking down.
LAPD
on
rough,
that.
boy. You don't mess with LAPD. You know, just
You do not.
keep it in the stadium. But anyway, we're gonna move on talking about some professional golf here. PGA Tour is in Augusta, Georgia. The Masters, beautiful, the green. You got Amen Corner. I believe that's that
beautiful.
12. Almost looks like
Beautiful.
12. 12 is the picture, as the hole next to that. It's just gorgeous golf course. Beautiful. You see the flowers and all the colors. Tiger, 4-time champion, of course, has not won a major in 10 years. Over 10 years. I mean, he's struggling.
Yeah.
Tiger's back, though. He's happy. Tiger looks happy. Came to the Masters with a smile on his face. He's in the par 3 tournament today. He's having some kids caddy for him. I've seen Tiger live. Tiger's not the most approachable of people. He is in the zone. He is focused.
Yeah.
Remember when he came back, he's like, oh, I'm not going to cuss anymore. I'm not going to do this. But that's not who he is. That's like telling McEnroe not to be who he was in tennis. I mean, that's just not those guys. That's not their
Telling
mannerisms.
Jordan not to trash talk on the court.
Yeah.
That's part of their game.
I mean, Tiger was one of the highest paid athletes. He was the highest paid athlete for several years in the PGA Tour, making well over $100 million. Lost a lot of sponsors because everything had happened. Now he's ranked 111th in the world. Kind of irrelevant. We're going to talk about some sleepers here. I know, Michael, you were thinking Tiger could actually be a sleeper.
Tiger's a
You
sleeper.
could actually call him a sleeper.
Yeah, we can. And I'll tell you why. Simply because of the fact that I don't think he would partake in the Masters if he didn't feel that he could at least compete. You know what I mean? Granted, yes, he hasn't won in like 10 years or whatever. And he's definitely, I think right now, he's going through some sort of mental issues right now. It's just kind of affecting his game. Nonetheless, again, like I said, I got to stick by Tiger. I think he has more juice in the tank for sure. He's got something to go. He's got something to prove. He's going to be okay. I don't know if he's going to win the whole thing, but I think he's definitely going to be someone to look out for.
Actually, I'm just curious, thought of this. AJ, I'm curious to know your perspective on Tiger's influence in PGA and golf right now. If you're trying to market the PGA Tour, Tiger's always been like the biggest, the biggest name, draws in big crowds. Yeah. Is he hurting golf's name right now, or should they focus on Rory McIlroy and these sleepers and these younger kids coming up? Or is Tiger, even talking about the drama of Tiger struggling, is that still a big enough sell for the PGA?
I think the talk of Tiger struggling is definitely a sell for the PGA. Like, he was everyone's hope. He was the golden boy. And then we saw him kind of just start to fall off. And everyone just has this, I don't know, I guess you'd say this hope that he's going to come back. So I think there's this story there, and people are excited to see if he actually comes back. And we have a lot of excitement going on. And you're totally right that he's a completely different player now. He's out there hugging people. He's warm. He's not the player he was. So we have to see if this works on the field, for Tiger.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I love watching the highlight. I keep showing the highlight over and over again. Remember Tiger made that famous chip. It was a perfect advertisement for Nike because the ball just slowly rolls. It stops like right on the Nike logo and then just drops in, beating. I mean, that was just, he's like a sleeping giant.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for him to do something.
And the thing is, and who knows if he ever will. Let's be honest. Let's look at Kobe Bryant, for example. He was the same thing. He was kind of like the NBA's poster child and stuff, and he's been injured a lot and whatnot and stuff. But people are still tuning in. They still want to know what Kobe's going to do for the Lakers when he comes back. It's a topic. It's something people want to talk about.
Kobe need to retire. That boy need to go home.
I agree.
Start coaching. Do something. Get out of LA. No, I'm sorry. We're going to go do our fifth topic.
Yes.
Last topic of the day. AJ, can you tell us about our last topic of the day?
Well, the last topic of the day is extremely exciting. I think we're all waiting. I think we waited 5 years for it. It's the Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight that's going to be on May 2nd. And we've got to ask ourselves, what kind of fight is this going to be? Is it going to be worthwhile? They're out here training over in Hollywood and getting their game on. And so what do you guys think?
Working out. Getting tough. I mean, you got to get strong for this fight. It's the biggest fight.
I'm the Tiger, man.
$180 million payday for Mayweather.
That's insane. Again,
$90,000 front row seat.
Again, like you said, AJ, it's 5 years in the making, and I've said this before. This is probably a fight that should have happened 5 years ago. It's like the fact that it's happening now. It's just, I'm still excited. It's going to be a good fight. These guys, again, they're still, I don't want to say they're at the top of their game, but they're still competitive. They're still a couple of the biggest names at like 38, 37 years old, roughly, around there. But big names, maybe, I hope not, but maybe the last great boxing match we might see in a long time.
Yeah. Biggest sporting weekend of the calendar year that we know so far.
Yeah.
Kentucky Derby, NFL Draft,
Age of Ultron.
Mayweather,
Age of Ultron.
Avengers, Age of Ultron, which Michael, in our poll question, we can call it a poll question, picked to go see Avengers, Age of Ultron because I made it tough. I said, you can only see it once.
I got to at least see it.
You can't see it on Blu-ray, you can't pick it up,
it.
you can't go to the theater, you have to see it. You got one time to see it. He's going to see that out of everything else. I think this is going to be something to watch. This is what we call must-see TV.
Oh, yeah.
$99 price tag for the pay-per-view.
So get some friends.
Or if
Get
you want to
some
go
friends.
low definition, you can go 89. Why you spending 90, 100? Just spend $100. You want to be able to see the sweat and the
Exactly.
blood. Hopefully there's some blood. I mean, I don't want anybody to get like brain damage or anything, but I mean, I want to see a fight.
Yeah.
This is
Same
a fight.
here.
I mean, this
Same
is
here.
big. We're gonna see Bieber. We're gonna see Lil Wayne.
That's what I'm hoping.
Looks like
That's what I'm looking forward to.
There's a story coming out now that Ronda Rousey is going to be there. She might get the only free ticket. I hope Ronda's in the entourage. I want to see Bieber, Ronda, and Lil Wayne just ushering Floyd Mayweather in there. Financially, this is huge. This could be a huge payday. $72 million at the gate. The highest, I believe, before that was like $20 million at the gate. It's going to be just huge money. $180 million. AJ, I'm curious to know, financially, this fight is just so big. $400 million in potential revenue. Is this fight worth that much money?
I think this fight is worth that much money, in part because you're absolutely right. I think this might be the last real fight. Boxing is a dying sport. We're moving over to UFC, but from the boxing that we've known in the past, we really haven't seen any true grit fighters that really carry the name. And Mayweather and Pacquiao, this is the last bout. So I think people are going to pay top dollar to be there. And like you said, it's a huge sports weekend. We have the draft, Kentucky Derby. It's all going to be on fire May 2nd.
It's the biggest sporting event. Michael, let's start doing picks here. If you had to pick a fighter, you're putting your money down on Vegas. You're going to Vegas to watch the fight. Who are you putting your money down on?
You know what? I really like both fighters, but I got to go Mayweather. I think he's going to keep it. He's going to stay undefeated.
Yeah, I'd have to go. I mean, it's Floyd Mayweather going 48-0 after this.
Yeah.
Still going to be the king. The money team, TMT, greatest of all time. That's Floyd Mayweather. That's our show today, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. 3-minute warning, hashtag 3MW. Please send in your questions, thoughts. We're doing our sports clubhouse lounge style long form show on Friday, so look for that. We're going to have Megan LaMontagne joining us. We're going to have, of course, the lovely AJ Lawrence joining us as well. It's going to be a star-studded affair, a lot of insight, a lot of knowledge. I'm David Griffin. As always, you can find me on Twitter at GriffinDE.
And you can also find me on Twitter at Mr. Michael Alexis, and myself and David right here on the Stream.TV on the Arrow After Show.
AJ, where can people find you in the internet world?
They can find me on Twitter at the AJ Lawrence.
And folks, we'll be back tomorrow with some more 3-minute warning, so stay tuned.